Hi guys, I'm back to going to read to Chronicles 21 to 25, Ezra 1 to 4, Proverbs 1, and Psalm 98. This is time. Jehoshaphat sat with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David, and Joram his son reigned in his place. Here about the sons of Jehoshaphat, Azariah, Jehiel, Zechariah, Azariah, Michael, and Shephatiel. All these were the sons of Jehoshaphat king Ezra. And their father gave them great gifts of silver and gold and valuable possessions, together 4 cities in Judah. He gave the kingdom to Jehoram because he was the firstborn. And Jehoram ascended the throne of his father established. He killed all his brothers with the sword, some of his princes of Israel. Some of the princes. Jehoram was 32 years old when he became king, and he reigned 8 years in Jerusalem. He walked in the ways the king of Israel has David done for the daughter of Ahab his wife. He did what was even beside the Lord, and yet the Lord was not willing to destroy the house of David. Because the covenant he made with David, he had destroyed to promised to give a lamb to him to his sons forever. And the day Edom revolted from their rule, Judah said the king of their own. And Jehoram passed over his commands and all his chariots, and he rose by night and struck the Edomites who had destroyed them and chariot commands. So Edom revolted from the rule of Judah to this day. At that time, Edom revolted from his rule, because he forsaken the Lord, the God of his fathers. Moreover, the high place in the hill country of Judah, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem to hold and made Judah go astray. And David came to him from a large house, saying, Thus says the Lord, the God of David your father, because you not walked in the ways of Jehoshaphat king your father, and the ways of Asa king of Judah, walked in the ways of the king of Judah, and enticed Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem to hold. As the house of Ahab led Israel to hold him, and you also you have killed your brothers of your father's house who were better than you. Behold, the Lord will bring a great plague on the people, your children, your wives, and all your possessions. You yourself will have severe sickness with the disease you about, and until your bowels come out because of the disease day by day. And the Lord stirred up against Jehoram the anger of the Philistines, and the Arabians who had the Ethiopians, and they came up against Judah and invaded and carried away all the possessions that they had. And they belonged to the king's house, his sons, his wives, and there was no son who was left him except Jehoahaz, his youngest son. After all this, the Lord struck him his bowels with incurable disease. In the course of time, at the end of 2 years, his bowels came out because of the disease, and died very early. His people near fire, no fire, and also. And the fathers made for his fathers, and he was 32 years old when he began to reign. And he reigned 8 years in Jerusalem. He departed with no one to regret. They buried him in the city of David, not in the tombs of kings. And the inhabitants of Jerusalem made Uzziah, Ahaziah, his youngest son, king in his place. They abandoned men that came with their ravens that came to kill all the old sons. So Ahaziah, son of Jehoram, king of Judah, Ahaziah was 22 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 1 year in Jerusalem. His son's name was Athaliah, the granddaughter of Omri. He also walked in the ways of the house of Ahab. His mother was a counselor and doing wickedly. He did what evil aside the house of Ahab. And after the death of his father, there was counselors to his undoing. He and father counsel went with Jehoram, son of Ahab, king of Israel, to make war against Hazael, king of Syria, at Ramoth-Gilead, and Syria's winner Joab. And he returned to be healed in Jezreel the Wednesday he received of Ramoth. He fought against Hazael, king of Syria, and Hazael's son Jehoram, king of Judah, went down to see Joram, son of Ahab, in Jezreel. His was written, it was ordained by God that the downfall of Ahaz should come about through his going to visit Joram. When it came, he went out with Jehoram to meet the Jehu, son of Nimshi, whom the Lord appointed to destroy the house of Ahab. And Jehu was executed judge on the house of Ahab. He met the prince of Jun, son of Ahaz's brother, and returned to Ahaz and killed him. He searched for Ahaz and he was captured while hiding from me. As brought to Jehu and put to death, and he broke him for he is a grandson of Jehoshaphat. He served the Lord with all his heart, and the house of Ahaz had no neighbor toward the kingdom. Now when Athaliah, the mother of Ahaz, heard told that she arose and destroyed the royal family and the house of Judah. But Jehoshaphat, the daughter of the king, took Joash, son of Ahaziah, and from away from among the king's sons, who were about to be put to death. And she put him in his nest in the meadow. Thus Jehoshaphat, the daughter of King Jehoram, the wife of Jehoiada the priest. And she was a sister of Ahaziah from Athaliah, so that she had not put him to death. And he reigned with them 6 years in the house of God, while Athaliah reigned in the land. And he sent Jehoiada to Karjan, and to Jacom, with the commanders of the hundreds. Isaiah son Joachim, Ishmael son Jehoiakim, Isaiah son Obed, Manasseh son Adan, and Elishua son Jeshua. And they went about through Judah and gathered the leaders from all cities of Judah. And they had the father's house of Israel and came to Jerusalem. All the Shalom made a covenant with the king in the house of God. And Jehoiada said to him, Behold, the king's son, no race. The Lord spake concerning the sons of David. And so one thing that we showed David, increasingly, was to call off Judah on the Sabbath. 1/3 shall be gatekeepers, and 1/3 shall be at the king's house, and 1/3 gate the foundation. All people shall be in the courts of the house of the Lord. And no one into the house of the Lord except a person most certainly must they enter for their holy. And all the people shall keep the charge of the Lord. And the Levites shall show in the king, each with weapons in his hand. Whoever enters the house shall be put to death. He with the king when he comes in when he goes out. The names of the Lord Judah could do according to all that Jehoiada the priest commanded. These brethren who took off Judah on the Sabbath, those who were to come on Judah on the Sabbath, who Jehoiada the priest did not dismiss the division, and Jehoiada the priest gave to the captains of spears and large and small shields of King David, who showed the house of them. They set all the people to go after the king, and they went to weapons. They set aside the house to them also, the house of the mount of the house, and he brought out the king's son, put the crown him up with them testimony. They gave him the testimony, and they proclaimed the king, and Jehoiada's sons and anointed him. They said, long live the king. And Athaliah heard the noise of the people riding and praising the king. She went to Hassel to the people, and she looked. There was the king standing by his pillar of the engines, and the captains and trumpeters beside the king. And all the people lay rejoicing and blowing trumpets and singing with their musical instruments, leading in celebration. And Athaliah tore her clothes and cried, choosing truces, and Jehoiada the king brought the captains who set over. All the captains who sat over the army, saying, bring up their rags, and anyone who follows is to be put to death. So he said, do not put to death the Hassel, and she went down to the horse gate, and the king said, put to death there. And Jehoiada made a covenant there, between himself and all the people and the king, that they should be the Lord's people. All the people went to Hassel and tore down his altars, images, they break pieces, and he killed about 10 pages about 4 altars. And Jehoiada placed a watchman for them, Hassel under the direction of the priest. And they were soon David organized in charge of Hassel to offer battle first of all. As it is been in the Lord, was rejoicing and saying, according to all that day, he said the gatekeepers at the gates of the Hassel, so that no one should enter who was in any way unclean. He took the captains, the nobles, and the governors of the people, and all the people there. And then brought the king down from the Hassel, marching with through the upgates of the king's house. They set the king on the royal throne, all the people, and they rejoiced, and the city was quiet after Athaliah being put to death. So he was just 7 years old when he began to reign. And he reigned 40 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Zibiah of Bishra, and Joash did what was right in the eyes of the Lord all the days of Jehoiada the priest. Jehoiada got over to wives, his sons and daughters. After Joash decided to restore the Hassel, and he gathered the priests and the said to go to the city of Judah, and gather the mortars and money to repair the house of God from you to the city act quickly. And David did not act quickly. Then the king's son Jehoiada the chief said to him, whoever not require the Levites who would bring it from Judah and Jerusalem, tax laid by Moses, the son of the Lord, and in congregation for Ezra, returned testimony. The sons of Athaliah, that wicked man, broke into the house of God, and those who used all the dedicated things in the house of the Lord for the baths. The king commanded, and they made a chest and sat outside the gate of the house of the Lord. Every commission was made for Judah, and Jerusalem taking from the Lord, tax that Moses, son of God, lay on Israel and the ones. And all the princes and all the people rejoiced and brought the tax and dropped it into the chest until they had finished. And the chest was brought to the king's officers by the as they saw that it was moving much money. And the secretary and officers and chief priests come and empty the chest, and take a return at its place, and thus they did doubt they and collected money in the bonds. And the king Jehoiada gave it to those who tried to work on the Hassel, hired masons and carpenters to restore the Hassel, and those who workers in line and bonds to repair the Hassel. And those who engaged the work labour, and the repairing went forward in the haste. And they restored the house of God to its proper condition, strengthened, and then they finished, they brought the rest of the money before the king and Jehoiada. And they were made utensils for the Hassel, and they for the service and burnt offerings, and just put into the best of God, so they offered burnt offerings and Hassel regularly all the days of Jehoiada. And Jehoiada grew old full of days and died. He was 130 years old at his death. And they buried him in the same David among the king's priests and done goodness and told God his house. And after Jehoiada, the prince of Judah, came and paid homage to him. Then the king listened to him. They abandoned the Hassel, the God of their fathers, and said after them that the wrath came upon Judah and Jerusalem for the good of theirs. And he sent prophets among them to bring them back to the Lord. They testified against them, they had not paid attention. The Spirit of God closed Zechariah, the son of Jehoiada the priest. And he stood above the people and said, thus says God, why do you break the commandments of the Lord? Then you cannot prosper. He has forsaken the Lord, he has forsaken you. He conspired against them, and I commanded the king. They stone the stones, and then called him the house of the Lord. Thus Joash the king did not remember the kindness that Jehoiada Zechariah's father had shown, and killed his son. And his dying he said, may the Lord see and avenge. And at the end of the year, the army of the Syrians came against Joash, came to Judah and Jerusalem, who were the princes of the people, from among the people, and said they explored to King Damascus. There all the army, though the army of Syria did come with food, and Lord delivered into the hand a very great army. The Judah had forsaken the Lord by their fathers, and now to execute judgment on Joash. And they departed from him, and looting severely when his sons conspired against him because of the blood of the son Jehoiada the priest, and killed him on his bed. So he died, and they buried him in the city of David. He did not bury him in the tombs of kings. Those who conspired him was Zabad's son of Shun with Ammonite, and Jehoshaphat's son of Shun with the Moabite. They counted his sons, and those many oracles against the Rebbe and the house of God, and the story of the book of Kings. Now Ezra's son made his way, so Ezra's 25 years old, and he began to reign 29 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jehoiada of Jerusalem. He was right now, not yet, not with the whole heart. As soon as the world passed from he killed servants who struck down the king's father. And he had not put their children to death, according to what was written in the book of Ezra, the Lord commanded. I shall not die because of their children, nor children die because of their father. Each one should die for his own sin. And they said, some of their men of Judah set to their father's house, and then commanded 1,000 for Judah and Benjamin. He mustered those 20 years old. And there are 300,000 choice men faithful. Yet he and the should be and should here. I know some 100,000 men of valor of Israel for 100,000 so. And then I came to this and came down the army of Israel directly. The Lord's not with Israel, with all these Ephraimites. You go to be strong for the high you suppose that God will cast you down for the enemy. I was about to help or to cast the enemy as a city neighbor. I showed you about 100 times I've given to army Israel. Then God is the Lord was able to give me much more than this, and amazing to Charles army and come to him. Ephraim to go home again. They came back and if you don't return home with this. And then he took coach and those people into the valley of Saul and struck down 10,000 men of and managed to capture another 10,000 men alive. And I took them to the top of the rock and threw them down from the top of the rock, and they were all dashed to pieces. The men of the army had Ezra sent back, and all men would go to him to back. Yes, he would do this from here to Bethlehem, and struck down 3,000 people, and took very much more. After Ezra, he from second and then, as he got the gods and his stomach them up, as God arrested them. Making offerings, and therefore the Lord was angry with them, Ezra attempted to my prophet. They sought the gods of people. I do not deliver their own people by your head. The secret king said, I have made the royal council stop. Why should we structure their crop stop? And he said, I know that God determines to show because you've done so not listen to my counsel. I also king to take counsel sent to Joash, the son of Jehoahaz, son of Jehu, king of saying, come, let's look one another face. And Joash, the king, is sent by Tomazer. King of Judah, official of Lebanon, sent to Secretary of Lebanon, saying, give me daughter to myself for a wife. I'll be in Lebanon, pass and struck temple down this with 60 and struck them and your heart lifted you up and boastfulness and now stay at home. My deep provoke trouble say you for and not you and Judah with you. There is no one listen but God know that he might give them into hand their enemies. This day is salt of God's heir. So Joshua the king is opened up, and amazing king of Judah. There is one nothing but our best message belongs to you. And then Judah is to who buys it, and then if I touch him, and Joshua king of the capture amazing king Judah. The son Joshua, son of Hazel, a best message borrow from Jerusalem and break down all Jerusalem for 100 crews. And they from gate to the corner gate, and he seized all the gold and silver, and all the vessels that are found in the house of God and carried over them. He seized those who approached the king's house as the hostages, and he intends to marry. And the amazing son Joash, king of Judah, left 15 years after death of Joash, son of Jehoahaz, king of Israel. The rest of the deeds of amazing from first to last, I have not written in the book of the kings of Judah and Israel. And the time when they turned away from the Lord, they made a conspiracy against him in Jerusalem. And he had told truce, they sent after him told truce. And put him to death there, and they brought him upon horses. He was ready to pass the sea day, and all the people of Judah took Uzziah, who was 16 years old. He the king of Sarah's father made. He built Aloth and restored to do after King Saul's father. Uzziah was 16 years old, and he went into it. He reigned 52 years in Jerusalem. His mother name was to carry in Jerusalem. He did with right as the Lord according to all his father made it. He said, he turned himself to seek God and did Zechariah. He instructed him in the fear of God, as long as he served God made him prosper. He went out and made works to first to break through the wall of the gap, and the wall Chadna and the wall of Ashton. He got Susan, Tachi, Ashton, Elsa, among the thirsties. God helped him against the Philistines and began to stay over and to let them go and this to meet much. The Ammonites paid tribute to Uzziah, who was famous ready even to the glory of Judah. He came very soon, moreover, Uzziah built towers in Jerusalem at the corner gate, at the land gate, the angle and fortified them. He built towers in the wilderness, and cut down many existing large towers, both from Shepherds and farmers and wine dressers. And the hills and the fertile lands that you love, and farms and wine dressers in the hills and fertile lands that you love. So, wherever Uzziah had an army of soldiers, for one division, according to the numbers of the master made by Judah, the secretary and essay officer, and the direction of him, one of the king's commanders, and the whole number of the heads of father's houses of mighty men of valor. It was 2,600, under their command was an army of 307,500. They could make war with mighty power to help the king against the enemy. And Uzziah prepared for all the armies, shields, spears, helmets, coats of mail, bows, and stones for sling. And Jerusalem made magicians with shoes, and very best government, to give them towers on the corners, shoot arrows into great stones. And his flames were far for his marvellously helped till he was strong. And he was strong, he grew powerful, as destruction was unfaithful to the Lord, and to the temple of the Lord to burn incense on altar incense. And Uzziah the priest went after him, and he praised the Lord who made the valley. And he withstood King Uzziah and said, it is not for you, Uzziah, to burn incense to the Lord, and for the priest sons of Aaron who consecrated to burn incense. And God sent who did them will bring you their honor from the Lord. As I was angry, and I sent him to turn to bed and anger came into his place. Leprosy broke on his forehead in the presence of the priest in the house of the Lord. That altar instant, as I tree priest and all priests looked at him, behold, it was leprosy in his forehead. This him out quickly, he himself carried to go out. His Lord struck him out, King Uzziah was left to day's death. King Leper lived in a sacrifice, so he was excluded from the house of the Lord. Jotham his son was over the king's house, governing the people. And must act as Uzziah from first to last. Isaiah the prophet's son Amos were. And the son of his father, he buried him at his father's burial field that belonged to the kings. And he sent his wife and Jotham his son reigned in his place. And Jotham his son reigned in his place. Jotham was 25 years old, he reigned to. He reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jerusalem, and the daughter was Ezra. He did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, according to what his father desired, except he did not enter the temple of the Lord. People still followed corrupt practices. He built the upper gate of the house of the Lord, and did much building and the wall of Arthur. He built cities in the fair country of Judah, and the forts and towns on the wood hills. He fought the king of the Ammonites and returned against it. And the Ammonites gave Medea 100 talents of silver, and 10,000 cords of wheat, and 10,000 barley. The Ammonites shaved the city around the second and 30s. As Jotham became mighty, because he ordered his ways before the Lord's God. And the rest of Jotham Lord's wars and ways, behold, they were in the look of the king of his end. He was his own Jew. He was 25 years old, he lived for 16 years in Jerusalem. And Jotham himself was fast, and he buried him in the city of David. And Ahaz his son reigned in his place. Ahaz was 20 years old, he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. He did not do what was right, as the Lord, as the father of David done. He walked in the ways of the king of Ezra. He even made metal images for the vows and made offerings of his son Hannah and burned his son's offering. According to the abominations he made the Lord drove out before the people of Israel. He sacrificed and made offerings on the high place on the hills of David Grove Tree. Therefore the Lord God gave him into his Syria, king of Syria. He defeated him and took him captive into a great number of people, and brought him to Damascus. He was also given him into the hand of the king Ezra, struck him with great force. And Pekah the son of Remaliah killed 120,000 men, whom Judah in one day, all the men of that. His over second Lord and their hearts, and the Syrian mighty men, their friend come as their king son. Ezra came the command and placed in Elkanah and next in authority to the king. And then Ezra took captive 200,000 Israelites, women, sons, and daughters. So he took them a spoil from them, and brought the spoil to Samaria. And the prophet of the Lord's name was Ezra. He went out to meet the army and came to Samaria and said to him, because the Lord the God of your fathers was angry to you, he into your hand, you killed them in a race that was raised up to heaven. And I intend to subjugate the people of Judah and make Jerusalem my own famous exile. He now sends you out against the Lord of God. Now hear me, and send back the captives from your relatives and take in the face wrath of the Lord upon you. Send Chase and Ephraim, Isaiah son of Johanan, and Berechiah son of Mishamoth, Jehezekiah son of Shalom, and Massa son of Hadlai stood against those who come from the war. And it shall not bring out the captives in me, for the price to bring upon this guilt against the Lord, and do some traverse and sins and guilt. Your guilt is already great, and there's fierce wrath against it, and all men left the captives of school, all princes and all men, and men who had been mentioned by name rose and took the captives. And so they clothed all who were naked among them. They clothed them, gave them sandals, provided them with food and drink, and anointed them, carrying them all the feeble. Among them, they brought them to the king's flock of Jericho, the sea of palm trees, and they returned to Samaria. At the time King Ahaz was sent to the king of Syria for help. The Edomites had again invaded and defeated Judah and carried away captives. And the Philistines had made raids on the cities in Shaphan and Negev of Judah, and taken Bethshemesh, Ajalon, and Gederoth, Soricon, with the villages, Timnah, the villages, and Gimzeh, with the villages. And they settled there, and the Lord humbled Judah because Ahaz king Ezra. He made Judah act sinful and been very unfaithful to the Lord. So two God's pillars of King of Syria in the gates and affected his Ahaz took a portion from the house of the Lord and the house of the king and the princes, and gave tribute to King of Syria, and did not help him. In the time of his distress, he became yet more faithful to the Lord. The same King Ahaz, so he sacrificed to God to Damascus, and had defeated him. And as the God to the king of Syria helped him, I sacrificed him that they may help me. They were the burden of him and of wars, and Ahaz got together the rest of the house of God, and shook out and pieced the vessel of the house of God. And sharpened towards the house of God, and made himself altars in every corner of Jerusalem. Every city of Judah made high priests to make offerings to the God, who protected the Lord, the God of his fathers, and the rest is acting on his ways from first to last. But they read in the book of the kings of Judah and Israel, and Ahaz sat with fathers. He buried him in the city in Jerusalem, and they did not bring him into the king's Israel. And Hezekiah's son reigned in his place. Hezekiah began to reign at 25 years old. When 29 years in Jerusalem, last year was Abijah's daughter Zechariah. He did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, according to what David's father done. In the first year of his reign, the first month, he opened the doors of the house of the Lord and repaired them. He burned the priests and the Levites and assembled them in the square place, and said to he immediately must now consecrate yourself and consecrate the house of the Lord, the God of your father, and carry out the filth from the holy place. For our fathers have been unfaithful and have done what evil in the sight of the Lord your God. If you take and turn away their face from the habitation of the Lord and turn them back, against and shut the doors of the vessel and put out the lamps and not burn it, offer offerings to the holy place to God. Therefore the wrath of the Lord came on Judah and Jerusalem, and made an ox of horror out of astonishment. And I said, as see their own eyes, so behold, their father fall battle. And their sons and daughters without wives in captivity for this. And as in my heart to come and to live for the Lord and God is, and all that his face can be turned away from us. I said, do not now be unnegligent, for the Lord has chosen me to stand in his presence, to minister to him and to be his ministers, make offerings to him. And Levi spreads my house and Manasseh, and Joel the son of Isaiah, and the sons of Caiaphas, and the sons of Mary, Kish the son of Abdi, and Isaiah the son of Jehovah. In the Gershonites, Joel the son of Zimmer, and Eden the son of Joel, and the sons of Eliud, and Joel, and the sons of Asaph, Zechariah, and Mattaniah, and the sons of Heman, Judah, and Shemaiah, the sons of Jethro, and Shemaiah, and Uzziel, and their brothers, and consecrated themselves when the king commanded. Now the words of the Lord to cleanse the house of the Lord, and he spent in Satan part of the house of the Lord to cleanse it. He wrote all the uncleanness, and they found in the temple of the Lord, and called it the house of the Lord. And they took and carried out to the Creamer. They began to consecrate on the first day of the first month, on the 8th day of the month, came to the festival of the Lord. And for 8 days they consecrated the house of the Lord, on the 16th day of the first month they finished. And they went to Hezekiah the king and said, they cleansed all the house of the Lord. Not for burnt offering all was utensils, and the table for the showbread all its utensils. All the utensils that king Ahaz discarded was buried, when he was faithful, so he made ready and consecrated him there before the altar of the Lord. Hezekiah the king rose early and gathered the officials of the city and went up to the house of the Lord. They brought 7 bulls, 7 male lambs, and 7 male goats for a sin offering for the kingdom, and for the sanctuary for Judah. And they commanded the priests to descend the end of them on the altar of the Lord. They slaughtered the bulls, and the priests received the blood and threw it against the altar. They slaughtered the rams, and the blood was thrown against the altar. And they slaughtered the lambs, and the blood was thrown against the altar. And they got to the sin offering were brought to king, and the sin, and they laid their hands on them. And the priests swallowed them, and made their sin offering that they were on the altar to make a tent for Ezra. And the king commanded with the burnt offering, and the sin offering should be made for Ezra. And all Ezra, and his station and labors, and Haslam, with cymbals, harps, and noise, going to command of David and Gad with the king's seer, and then Nathan the prophet. And the command was from the Lord through his Proverbs, and they restored the instrument David. And the priest with trumpets, and Hezekiah commanded the burnt offering be offered on the altar. And the burnt offering began, the song to the Lord began to sound, the trumpets accompanied by the instruments David King Ezra. How shall we worship, and sing and sang, and the trumpet sounded. All this continued until the burnt offering was finished. And then the offering was finished. The king and all who were present with him bowed themselves and worshipped. Hezekiah the king and his officials commanded others to sing praise to the Lord, the words of David and Asaph to see. As they praised with glad, say, bow down and worship. And Hezekiah said, you know, consecrate yourselves to the Lord. Come near, bring sacrifice and offerings to the house of the Lord. As I made both sacrifice and thank offerings, all who were willing had brought burnt offerings. None of the burnt offerings that this time they brought were 70 bulls, 100 rams, 200 lambs. All these were for a burnt offering to the Lord. And the consecrated offerings were 600 bulls, 3,000 sheep. The priests were 2 feet and could not fight all the burnt offerings until other priests consecrated themselves. And brothers of the Levites helped them until the work was finished. And the others were more upright and hard than the priests consecrated themselves. Besides the great number of burnt offerings, there was the fat of the peace offerings, there was drink offerings for their burnt offerings. As the service of the house of the Lord was restored, and Hezekiah and all the people rejoiced because God had provided for the people, for the king came about suddenly. So, Proverbs 1. The Apostle Solomon, son of David, King, to know wisdom and instruction, to understand what to insight, to retrieve instruction wisely, gain righteousness, justice, and equity, to give praise to him. Knowledge and discretion to the youth, and let the wise thing praise the money, so that the one who understands take guidance, to understand problem, saying, and the words of the wise man will. The Lord is obedient and knowledge, full of wisdom and instruction. He must not your father's instruction, forsake not your teeth. And they are graceful God for your hand, and tender for your neck, and so is tied to your jaw, so you say, come with the slides lying away from blood, let ambushes and sin without reason. Extra all those swallow them alive, and the whole like those are good end. You shall find no precious goods, because we shall fill the house with plunder. Though near law among us, all one person, my son, do walk in the way with them. I'll break your foot from their paths, when their feet won't evil, and they make hate to shed blood. And veins is net spread in the side of any bed. They have been lying away for their own blood. They sin in ambush with their own life. Such a ways everyone was grief and risky. He saw life as possessors, and wisdom cries loud and straight, and the democracy raised their voice. And the noise reduced you cries out, and the edge of the city gate she speaks. How long was the point to the loving slip? How long scoffers to lie and scoff and enforce hate much? It is in a town my reproof, we hold out upon my spirit too, and make my words in two. I read that corner for celeste, and I stretched my hand down this here. As you ignored on my country, when no reproof. I saw laugh at your calamity. I'm mocking terror strikes, when terror strikes like a storm, your calamity comes like a wall. Then it's just neighbors come upon you, and then call upon me, but I don't know. It's a they'll simply do it, they will not find me. As they hear knowledge, they don't choose to fear the Lord, but none of my countenance despised on my reproof. Therefore they shine through their way, and have their fill of their own devices. They say by cover and tenement, and the capacity for the force destroys them. How listen to me, rules to kill, will be without dread disaster. Psalm 97. All the ladies let the earth rejoice. Many questions being done, found cause and ignorance, so the righteous and just on the foundation of time. My goes before him, bend of its adversaries over his lightnings like the Lord. As season shot the mountains before him, mount like wax before the Lord all the earth. The heavens proclaim his righteousness, and all the people see his glory. And worship his images, put to shame, they make their best and masters out. Worship him, all ye God. All ye gods, the Lord's on his God, and joys of Judah rivers. His judgments are love, for you, Lord, most high of all days. You exalt high, but far above all good. You who love the Lord, he who preserves lives and save. There is from the hills and the king, and the son of the righteous, and over that right now. There is the Lord of the righteous, and give thanks to his holy name. And thus I should know the Lord's wife, whose my head, Father, holy name, can come and done this in here. It is a day, but give us justice to God up to days, and to take us to the one. First kingdom upon the growth of all. See you tomorrow. Bye.